As we grow older, something profound and life-changing begins to emerge. Clarity. Years of living through countless relationships, challenges, sacrifices, and lessons learned the hard way give rise to a deep understanding of what truly matters. Many elders, after decades of life experience, finally begin to see things with crystal clear vision. Time feels different now. Energy becomes more limited, and the importance of protecting our peace becomes non-negotiable. One of the most crucial lessons often learned too late is this: not everyone deserves access to your time, energy, or emotions. At this stage of life, we realize that just as we protect our physical health, we must also guard our emotional health. This isn't something we are taught early in life. It's a truth that only age and experience reveal. The reality is that some people, whether family, friends, or acquaintances, must be kept at a distance if we are to maintain peace, joy, and well-being. So today let's talk about 6 people that wise elders often learn to step away from, and why. The first person to avoid is the constant critic. You probably know this person well. They are always quick to point out what you're doing wrong, how you live your life, how you spend your money, how you eat, or even how you rest. They disguise judgment as concern, offering advice masked as help. But in reality, every interaction leaves you feeling smaller, weaker, and somehow inadequate. When we are young, we have the energy to brush off criticism, but as we age, our tolerance for negativity diminishes. Chronic criticism is a silent thief. It steals joy and weakens emotional strength. Elders often say it clearly: no one, not even family, earns the right to drain your peace. Your time is too precious to spend on people who focus only on your flaws instead of appreciating your strengths. The second person to avoid is the emotional user. These are people who show up only when they need something: money, support, attention, or validation, but disappear the moment you need help. They are takers, not givers. Many older people realize too late that they were valued not for who they were, but for what they could provide. As we age, relationships must be mutual, built on respect and reciprocal care. If someone continually takes from you without offering emotional respect, love, or care in return, distancing yourself is not cruelty, it is self-preservation. This can be painful, especially when the person is family or a longtime friend, but true relationships are built on mutual respect, not emotional debt. The third person to avoid is the chronic drama carrier. These people live in a constant state of emotional chaos and pull everyone around them into their storm. They thrive on conflict, gossip, and emotional turmoil. Elders say this is one of the fastest ways to age poorly because constant emotional turbulence takes a serious toll on both body and mind. Drama raises blood pressure, disrupts sleep, and keeps the body locked in survival mode. Peaceful aging requires emotional boundaries. People who live for drama and keep you emotionally unsettled have no place in your life as you grow older. Drama may belong to youth, but wisdom chooses peace. The fourth person to avoid is the one who invalidates your experiences. They dismiss your pain, memories, wisdom, and perspective. They say things like, "That was a long time ago," or "You're too sensitive," or "You should be over it by now." These words may sound harmless, but they cut deeply when they come from someone you trust. Elders carry decades of lived experience, joy, loss, growth, and hardship. When someone dismisses that, it creates emotional isolation, even in company. Respect is not optional in old age. If someone cannot honor your story, they do not deserve closeness. The fifth person to avoid is the controller. This may be a family member, an adult child, or a relative who tries to manage your life, where you live, how you spend money, what you eat, and how you rest. Aging already brings loss of control in some areas, such as health or mobility, but losing dignity should never be part of that journey. Advice is welcome, control is not. When someone treats you like a burden rather than a human deserving respect, distance becomes an act of self-respect. Elders know their independence is sacred, and protecting it is essential. The sixth and final person to avoid is the guilt tripper. These people manipulate using guilt. They remind you of what you owe, what you should do, or how disappointed they will be if you don't comply. They use family duty, past sacrifices, and obligation to keep you emotionally trapped. Wise elders learn this truth: guilt has no place in peaceful aging. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to choose yourself. Saying no is not selfish, it is self-care. One powerful truth older people often learn is that loneliness is not the worst thing in old age. Being surrounded by people who drain you emotionally is far worse. Emotional stress accelerates aging faster than solitude ever will. That's why as we age, we become quieter, more selective, and more protective of our inner world. This isn't bitterness, it's wisdom. Avoiding harmful people doesn't mean cutting everyone off. It means choosing depth over obligation, respect over familiarity, and peace over appearances. Some of the most damaging relationships persist simply because they've always been there, or because they're family. But age teaches us a hard truth. Shared blood does not excuse emotional harm. The happiest elders are not those surrounded by many people, but those who have learned to protect their peace, knowing who to keep close and who to love from a distance. Because when time is finite, every interaction costs energy, and wise elders know how to spend that energy carefully. This message is shared with love by True Life Wisdom.